So here's going to be a quick video reminder of how to graph a straight line. So the first thing you're going to do is find out where your y-intercept is. In our case over here we have positive 4 as our y-intercept, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 and mark my y-intercept here. And then from that point what I do is I follow the slope, and the slope is basically telling me to move a certain amount of distance in the x and y direction. So let me remind you that slope is equal to the change in the y direction divided by the change in the x direction. And in our case over here, what it is a change of negative 3 over 2. So that means I'm going to go in the y direction down 3 units, and in the x direction to the right, to the positive side, by 2 units. So I go 1, 2, 3, 3 down, and then 2 to the right, 1, 2. And that's where my next point lands. And then I could keep doing this, I could keep following this pattern, so I can go down 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and then across 2, 1, 2, and that's where my next point is. And I could keep doing this pattern as long as I want. And basically, this is how I trace out my line. I now know that my line looks a little bit like this. So what I had to do was find the y-intercept. By looking at my function, I can see that it was 4. And then I had to follow the slope of the line, and I did that by looking at the value of a in front of my x. And then I know that the top number of that fraction is going to tell me how to move in the y direction, and the bottom number of that fraction tells me how to move in the x direction. Now, what happens if your slope a is just 2, for example? Well, 2 is just 2 over 1, so what that means is you're going to move in the y direction upwards by 2 because it's positive, and you're going to move in the x direction up to the right by 1 because it's also positive. So up 2 across 1 if you had a slope of 2.